If you're using the Zippers Thundermax ECM to control your fuel injection system for your Harley-Davidson motorcycle, you may find that the base maps are prone to exhaust popping and coughing out the throttle body. What I'm about to show you is some simple adjustments that you may be able to make to help control some of those two negatives. Basically, what we're going to do is increase the timing around the idle position up to the general cruise area, which is around 2000. Is where you typically start cruising on a Harley-Davidson. We're going to adjust the timing using the base map and individual timing maps. We'll mention I'm not a professional tuner, nor do I consider myself to be an expert in the field. This is just a map to use at your discretion. These are some basic things that I've done that seem to improve the runability of my motorcycle, and they should improve yours as well. We're going to start by having the drop down of the ignition timing. The main area that we're going to be working in is timing versus engine speed. This particular map controls each individual timing versus TPS versus RPM maps, two separate timing areas. If I make an adjustment on this map, it's going to affect one of these. We're going to start by adding timing in this general area here. This is your idle is going to be anywhere you set it from, say, 900 to 1000, which is somewhere in this neighborhood here. And then we're going to adjust timing the whole way up to 2000. 2000 is typical cruise beginning for your Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Anything below that's going to be your decel till it reaches idle. That's typically where you're going to be prone to have popping. We're going to start by adjusting the timing. I like to have a nice sweeping timing through here rather than having an abrupt uphill change. So I added timing to these areas here. If you look at the areas that I added timing, if we go to the third box down here, which is 512, I added 1 degree of timing here. You'll see here that it added 1 degree. Going back to the original map, you'll see I added 2 degrees at 768. And if we look at this map, you'll see it's increased 2 degrees. One area that I've noticed with all the maps for the Thundermax is they typically retard timing past your throttle close position. Generally, that's a good way to have popping. So what I do is smooth that out. Another area of improvement, when you have this connected to your link and to your monitor, you'll see where your throttle position typically is at idle. I go to the next box to the left of that and increase the timing 1 degree. My particular build is it idles between the second and third box, so I'm going to choose the third box and I'm going to increase it 1 degree. This is something that I do the whole way up through the RPM ranges. For today's video, we're just going to work on the idle. At 1000, based on the adjustments we just made, we're at roughly 20 degrees timing at idle. I'm going to smooth this the whole way up. Increase the timing 1 degree on the left of the throttle at idle indicator. Adding timing rather than retard it will help decrease popping tendencies. I'm going to do the same thing at 1280. What you'll notice is that both 1280 and 1024 right now are at 20 degrees. We're just going to do this the whole way up. Here you'll see that they have timing retarded at this point. we're going to do the same as we've done on the other maps, where we're going to level this off and add a little bit of timing just on the back side of where the closed throttle would be. This area here you typically won't see in general conditions of riding. When you get in the upper RPMs, you may see just past where it typically closes. That's going to be under heavy decel. If you look at your learned offsets, you may see learned offsets in these areas. That's why it's a good general practice to increase the timing in those areas. What I typically do, as I mentioned before, I'll adjust all this timing to be leveled out rather than have a retard at decel. I would prefer to have the timing stay either the same or slightly increase under decel. And if you look at other places of the maps, I'm not going to continue to go up through, but just to give you a general idea, just about all the maps have actually retard the timing as opposed to having it advanced at the decel. Once you complete these changes to your base map, it's a good idea to, once you load it up to your computer or to your ECM, go ahead and hit your IAC auto, run that so that your motorcycle sees the new timing changes. It will affect your AFR a little bit at first until everything gets auto tuned in again. But hopefully these changes here will help control popping and coughing at your motorcycle. Hope this video was helpful.